Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steven Hernandez for Steven Hernandez's Nonprofit Fundamentals. Today we're going to do another video on relationships. And this one, I must warn you, will carry a trigger warning because it's about red flags in relationships. And by that I mean these are behaviors, actions, words that our partners do or display that we should really listen to, that are indicative of potential problems, sometimes very serious problems that can develop in our relationships. And the story that I'm going to relate to you is something that I have permission to share with you, and that came from a large group, a singles workshop that I did a number of years ago. And the story concerns a woman that I met. She had been married for about 15 years to her high school sweetheart, middle school sweetheart actually. And she had been cheated on multiple times by her husband. And in her words, while he never hit me, I recognize now I was in a toxic, emotionally abusive, emotionally manipulative, and economically abusive relationship. And after, again, as I said, multiple affairs, horrible behavior, she had struggled with her weight all through her life. And so her husband would constantly mock her for her weight, and make her feel less than because of her weight, would then also bring junk food or things that would trigger her issues with food into the house, and then you kind of sabotage her desire to get healthier. And so after like yet another instance of cheating, she finally left him and initiated divorce proceedings. While going through that horrible experience, she wound up having to move in with her parents. So she was back in her childhood home, and she was going through all kinds of things for middle school and high school, and she happened to find her journal from that time. She happened to find, as her young, idealistic, in her words, naive self, she found an actual record of her relationship with her future husband. And in that, she found so many red flags that she wished she had followed, that she had wished that she had listened to. And I'm going to relate them to you now, because I think this is indicative. This is, I think, a very clear example of someone who saw red flags, but then didn't follow through on them. So what she said was, in her journal at the time, that this boy always made her feel like she was lucky to get his attention, because in her words, he was always around prettier girls, more exciting girls, more interesting girls. And while he never wanted to be seen in public with her, would never like say, oh, this is my girlfriend or this is my friend, he would always spend time with her one-on-one. He would always make her feel like, well, when I choose to spend time with you, I'm doing you a favor, because, you know, I could do a lot better. And while he would never say that, at least not early on, it was always very clearly implied to her that he could, quote unquote, do a lot better. She wrote how she wrote a list of all the things that she liked about him. And she wrote a list of all the things that she was worried about with him, because I think she was expecting him to ask her to prom or to homecoming or something like that. And in the list that she wrote that he was handsome, that he was, you know, like on the sports team, he was popular, he was, you know, like exciting to be around. But she also had a much longer list of things that she was worried about. She was worried about his temper, how he would get moody, how he would insult his friends, he would insult her. And he was very good even then at identifying the things that people were very vulnerable about, and would really zero in on that and would really attack you about that. She was concerned about his wandering eye, how he was always looking for the next best thing in terms of relationships, and it always made her feel like you're not secure in this relationship. She was worried about how he would tease her and mock her for already the weight problems she was starting to experience, and on and on and on. The list of the red flags, she didn't have the word for that at the time, was much longer than the things that she liked about him. But in her words, she pushed all that aside, and he asked her to go to high school, you know, prom or homecoming, and then, you know, the rest is history. And she said, as a grown woman who gave almost 20 years of her life to this man, who dragged her through hell, who ruined her credit, who, you know, traumatized her children, who made her an emotional wreck, you know, in her words, if she had listened to what she had said, what she had seen, the thoughts and feelings of her like 15-year-old self, that, you know, he's selfish, he's thin-skinned, he insults, he's not a true and caring person, it's always about him, he was narcissistic, all these things. If she had listened to herself, if she had trusted herself, if she had only trusted herself enough to recognize these red flags for what they were, she feels that, you know, like her life would have been totally different. The point of this video is trust your gut, trust your instincts, trust yourself. If you feel like, if you're noticing those things like she did, and I would encourage you to even make a list. If you're in a relationship with someone right now, list all the things that you like about them, but also list the potential red flags. Like, do they have a violent temper? Do they have a history of lying? Do they have a history of quote-unquote crazy exes? Yeah, you know, if there are a number of things that concern you about them, you really should listen to yourself and listen to people who can be objective and who care about you to make sure you're not getting yourself into a situation that could be potentially dangerous or even deadly for you. I know this is perhaps not an easy thing for some of my listeners to hear. I hope this is instructive and helpful to you. As I move forward, I will be happy to link additional resources for people, you know, that might be helpful. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video. If this was of help at all, please share it with someone else. Give it a like. Hit the subscribe button. My name again is Steven Hernandez, and this has been Steven Hernandez's Nonprofit Fundamentals. Thank you so much and take care.